Welcome to the Digital Maddy Show with your host and host, Digital Mitthyl, your digital empire architect who is on a mission to help entrepreneurs build their digital empire with my self-made entrepreneur program. This show is all about unlocking the world of entrepreneurship, personal branding, content creation, and digital marketing. I also bring many entrepreneurs and experts on this show and extract their secrets of success, which gives you a roadmap for building your digital empire. So we have an amazing guest on our show. He's already into the studio. Let's welcome him.
You are listening to the Digital Maddy Show with Digital Mitthyl.
So welcome to the show, and we have our guest in the studio. It's none other than Colton, and let me introduce him. He has spent his entire career where the rubber meets the road between the product development and the branding on the one side and marketing and sales on the other side. This experience has enabled him to combine strong strategies with creative execution to help companies grow fast while spending less. So as he likes to call it, modern marketing with some stank on it. So welcome, Colton, to the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you for actually saying the tagline. I always get a kick out of it when people say it. That's something about it really tickles me. Thank you.
Super cool. So Colton, all the people who are listening to this particular episode, why don't you share your journey, your story with all of them?
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. So I started as a marketing executive about 20 years ago, and I've really focused on small companies in, I'd say, early to mid-stage startup mode, helping businesses really reach new markets and expand into new territories and capture market share from long-standing industry incumbents that have, sort of a deep pocket. So how do you compete against those people? How do you grab market share? And in each case, when you're in the startup mode, you have pennies to work with, and we had to get really creative in terms of how we were doing that. So through the different companies that I've worked with and helped to support, we've just found creative and what I call scrappy ways to get that done. And it's been really a great journey. And now I work more to help businesses leverage scrappy marketing techniques and best practices in order to do the same.
I am super excited to learn few of them. And yes, it's as rightly said, every master was once a beginner. And when we start as a dream and into a company, we start with low budget or, with low finance. And as we grow ahead, we keep on pumping more funds. And if done in a very strategic way, we can hold a bigger market share also. I am excited.
Absolutely. Yes, great. Right on.
Awesome. So let me ask you my very first question. So why being scrappy is not necessarily a bad thing in business?
Oh yeah, I really appreciate this question. Sometimes people feel like scrappy is maybe too aggressive or something like that. What I find about being scrappy is you're willing to get things done in a different way. It takes a little bit of risk, right? So you have some risk tolerance that's needed to get there. And it's really about getting your own personality involved, right? What do you like to do? What lights you up? And what is the story you want to tell about who you are? I find that some people get really concerned about, well, maybe somebody's not going to like that part, or maybe somebody won't find this compelling or attractive or be motivated by this. But what I really encourage individuals and businesses to do is to really boldly step into expressing who they are, what they believe in, what they're trying to accomplish in the world, rather than flatten out all the bumps and just present this vanilla front, this vanilla personality. Be genuine about who you are. I think that's a very scrappy and sometimes uncomfortable thing to do. But the reward is there, because people who can see you can also like you. And unless you really share something about yourself that's genuine, people don't get a chance to connect with you. And I encourage every business leader that I work with and every company that I work with to do exactly that.
Absolutely. Because your origin story and yourself, because you are the brand ambassador of your company. So if people know it, then it becomes very easy for people to connect and relate to it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, totally.
True, true. So, Colton, tell me one thing. As you rightly said, that when we begin, it's a huge road. It's like it's an uphill. So,
Yeah.
how to stand out when everyone in the world can do what you can do? It's like having a tough competition.
Yeah. It is hard to do that. What I like to do with businesses, I work with them for a while to understand what it is that they're doing that other people can't do. And I do see this a lot, right? Everybody says we're the best at this in a market. So it's like, well, how is it that everybody here is the best? What is it about you that makes you the best in some unique way? And every business has something like that. But it ties actually back to your first question. Unless you're being genuine about who you are and what you're here for, you can't find that difference. So people could be the fastest version of something, a solution, the least expensive, the most domestic version of something, right? I mean, there's so many different ways to find what it is that's making you unique. And everybody's journey is their own, right? So no one can be the best Colt except for Colt. And the same is true for any business owner in that way. But standing out for me, like how do you break through the noise? This is where the creativity really comes in. And I find that people will hire creativity, and that's valuable, and it can get them further down the road. It can help them succeed. But what I mostly find is that people underestimate their own capacity for creativity, either because they're shy about maybe my ideas aren't very great, or they don't want to take the rejection of putting something out there and maybe somebody not liking it. I'd say, hey, somebody's not going to like it. It's probably the best way to start, and just be okay with that. And I think the advice that I would give people on how do you stand out when everybody's the same, creativity is something that anyone can develop. I mean, really anyone can. It's like athleticism. Nobody starts out as an Olympian. You have to work hard to get there. And while we maybe know the exercises to develop ourselves physically, because they're all over the place, there are lots of things that people can do to develop themselves creatively. I actually just got this book from a good friend of mine, Sarah Armstrong. Great TED Talks about creativity. This book has drawn from 100 different TED speakers on creativity.
It's like an encyclopedia.
It's exactly like that. Yeah. Thank you for that comment. The exercises of creativity are available, and if you undertake them, the ways that you can stand out will become obvious.
So that's basically creating a uniqueness so that you are unique among the competition.
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Creativity is
cool.
I think creativity is probably one of the most powerful assets or attributes in business in the 2020s. I think it's going to be I think about lots of things that people would hire for. If you hire for creativity, you're going to do well.
Absolutely. Okay. So, Colton, I just want to ask you one question. And this is practically like, you are also a mentor to many of the leaders as well as companies. And so am I. And what I have observed is after coaching so many people, mentoring so many people, the objective or the purpose with which they started their company or the dream, eventually somewhere that purpose gets dissolved and they lose their way. And that's I have seen that many people get lost. So since you are an expert into that, so how getting real about being purpose driven in business actually makes you stay in the market and then get the market share and be the thought leader in that specific niche?
Yeah, this is really great. The term I use for what you just described is when purpose becomes platitude, and it happens a lot. And I've actually seen it happen in the course of a single day, where a business leadership team came up with their phrase for what their purpose was and got it up on the wall. And by the end of that day, it was just people rolling their eyes with like, oh, here's just another thing that they're doing to get us to rally for the next couple of weeks about what they're doing. It's tragic when that happens. So what I would say about how you can keep purpose alive, what I've found is the real secret to this is operationalizing your purpose. And what it means is it means you're measuring the performance of your individuals and your departments and your business as a whole against and relative to your purpose. If you add that to your job descriptions, if you add that to your weekly or monthly reporting, if you add that to the agendas of your business meeting, how are we driving towards our purpose? Then you can keep purpose alive internally, and people externally will see that purpose is a real, genuine thing for you. And as I caution business leaders that the radar that consumers and prospective employees possess for when purpose is just BS in a company, that radar is very, very strong now. And unless you're being genuine, and being genuine to me is being operationalized, then your purpose will be seen as a platitude, both by your market, your target market, and by your employees. And that's when it collapses in the way that you were saying.
Awesome. So yes, if purpose driven is there from the beginning, I think it will help them with the right customer persona, and will be able to actually do justice to the thing that they are, the solution that they are providing to the people's problems or the challenges. And it's going to be a big way. It's going to be a long way. And
exactly, yes.
And I have seen your profile, and you're doing a phenomenal work in being a catalyst in all those people's business and shaping them into the right way. And that's all for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Awesome. So Colton, we have come to the second phase of the interview now, and that's called as a rapid fire round.
Oh man. Okay. Do I need to stretch?
You can. Absolutely. So in this rapid fire round, I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and I'm not going to give you time to think. Whatever thing comes in your mind, let's enjoy that.
Okay. Oh man, here we go.
Awesome. So let's begin with the phase 2, and that's rapid fire round with Colton. So the very first question is, what's your favorite movie quote?
My favorite movie quote is, wow, I'm totally blanking right now on movie quotes. And it's a Casio, which is a quote from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, as the character Del Griffith is trying to pawn his watch in the hotel lobby so that he can get a room for the night. It's a beautiful moment of salesmanship. I suggest you watch it just for that line. And it's a Casio.
Super cool. Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Can I pronounce this?
Absolutely.
I will say scrappy, genuine, and dedicated.
Wow. Absolutely. And no doubt about that. So, okay. Now, since we are into the world of Marvel and DC and many other things, who is your favorite superhero and why?
Vision is my favorite superhero. His perspective on humanity, to me, I find absolutely fascinating and compelling. I really, really dig. The other, if we're outside of Marvel, I don't know if you know The Watchmen. Do you know The Watchmen?
Absolutely.
Dr. Manhattan, to me, is another very fascinating character. And I totally respect the writers for coming up with just his perspective on the universe. It's like, wow, that is a cool idea.
Awesome. Okay. Now this is the question that's going to actually, start a kind of gear rolling in your mind also.
Okay.
If there was supposed to be a movie made on your story and everything that you have done, who do you think will play your role as an actor?
Okay. Maybe through this conversation, it wouldn't be obvious, but I think my friends collectively would select Jim Carrey to play my role.
Super cool. All right. And we come to the last question.
Yes.
What is the one thing, like since we are at the end of 2021, what is the one thing that you would put in your bucket list for 2022?
I am going to try to go helicopter skiing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. And from which place you will do that?
So it's looking like it might be Alaska.
Wow. It's one of the beautiful places.
Yes. I'm really excited about this possibility. A friend of mine actually has been telling me about it for a number of months here, and just been, are you going to do this, man? Are you going to do it? Are you going to go with me? And I do think it's going to happen. It's I've never done anything like that before. I've been in snow sports for 30 years, but I'm very excited about this. It's going to be a bucket list item for sure.
Awesome, Colton. First of all, thank you so much for participating sportingly and giving all the answers and enjoying yourself too. So let's have a high five for that. Super cool.
Right on.
Awesome. So Colton, all the people who are listening to this particular episode, if they have to connect with you and bring a transformation in their business and their attitude, how they can connect with you?
So Scrappy AF Solutions.com or ScrappyAFmarketing.com can get you to my website, and from there I'm very easy to reach. And Colt Briner on LinkedIn is another easy way to connect with me. I've got a lot of conversations going on there that I'm moving forward with all day long.
Wow, super cool. Okay, so since most of the people are either entrepreneurs or startups, or they have a dream of starting up, so what is that one message, Colton, that you would like to give it to them?
I think it actually is going to come back to creativity. I think that focusing on building each individual's creativity in a business and within yourself is going to make the difference for how successful you can be in the 2020s. New things are coming out of the woodwork. It's just like all new all the time. And if you build up your combinatorial capacities to just take one idea and combine it with another idea, amazing things are going to pour out of you all day long. I have on my website, actually, I posted recently how to be the most creative person in the room. This is 10 tactics for those exercises, right? Building your creativity, setting up your environment. It's all over the internet, tips and tactics for becoming more creative. I would say aim for it. Even if you want to just do it for 6 months, aim for it, find the exercises that appeal to you and see what happens. You can do amazing things with just a little bit more creativity.
Wow. So guys, if you are watching or listening to this particular episode, you can find the link of the website, as well as I'm going to also try and request Colton to give me the link of that particular article so that you can also get the opportunity to encash that knowledge and apply in your business also. So Colton, since we are at the end of this particular episode, I just want to ask one personal question because I resonate a lot with you, with your thought process and the way your mission and vision that you have. How do you keep your fire, which was once upon a time a kindle, of your company or your thoughts or your ideas or your dreams? How have you kept it alive, which is again similar to passion and purpose and the objective of starting it, but how have you kept it alive? Because yes, when it comes to business, it's always a roller coaster ride. So how do you keep it alive? Because this is one thing I see people very soon when they are, they come up with lots of obstacles because the Almighty will always try to test your limits. So when they come up with the obstacles, it's very easy for them to quit. But I can see that you are passionate. So how do you keep it alive?
Well, first, what I want to say is I think you gave an important part of the answer yourself, like a really important part of the answer you just gave about that. You mentioned the roller coaster. And I think that's so important to acknowledge because a lot of people, they will look from the outside at individuals like yourself and they'll say, it's just got the fire all day. But I find, and if I'm, I want to be honest about this, I don't have the fire all day every week. That's not the way that it works for me. And I think that people who may look from the outside and say, I've never been like that, I've never had that all day fire, they'll feel like, they can't do the things that they would strive to do. So the first thing for anyone listening is don't expect to have a fire all day. And if you find that you don't, or, like 2 days last week, you just didn't have it, you're fine. You're fine. And you can still do absolutely amazing things, even if you don't have the fire all day long. So let's just kind of break the mystery or the illusion here that people who appear to have the fire all day long, I've talked to so many of them, it's not true. So give yourself that permission to not have the fire all day. The other thing is, I would say, is that balance is a very important part of how I have maintained what I think appears to be fire all day. And that's giving myself the space. I love to go mountain bike riding. I love to just take a break. I love to spend time with my family. And the things that recharge are things that I need. I do take time. I take time for myself. I know Gary Vaynerchuk would say like he just drives all day, and I'm like, okay, cool, but maybe not everybody can do that. And if you know what you need, if you know what your soul needs, your spirit, your body, even your mental state, take care of yourself along the way. And that's how you can stay in a on fire state longer in your life.
Wow, I am impressed. Thank you so much, Colton. And there is one thing that you said, which is very crucial, is to, have that fire within. So you need to recharge.
Yeah.
So whether it's your car, so you need gasoline or you need a fuel to have this fire running. And very rightly said. So whether it's your mobile phone or whether it's your car, you always take a break to recharge it so that you can, go full throttle. And it's rightly you connected that with entrepreneurship, because most entrepreneurs that you must have come across, hardly they understand the concept of hustling. And for them, hustling means is like constant working, and ultimately that fire burns them out.
It's true.
So very rightly said. Thank you so much, Colton, for sharing these thoughts, your ideas, and all the people who are listening to this episode. You can find all the links below, so do connect with him. He is an amazing guy. And before I end, I would like to say one thing, that if you are looking for a unique yet authoritative speaker on B2B marketing or purpose-driven leadership to really engage your audience and add a touch of humor, then Colton is your guy. So thank you so much, Colton. Thank you so much, Colton, for being on the show. It's our honor for having you on the show, and I'm sure even if one person by listening to this episode transforms and helps that person, I think our purpose of taking this interview, your and mine, I think it's done. It's achieved.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Yes.
Awesome. So thank you so much for listening to the Digital Maddy Show with your host and host, Digital Mitthyl. Thank you so much for listening to our show and giving so much love. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on Apple Podcast or Spotify. And if you are watching this video on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So this is Digital Mitthyl signing off with Colton at the moment. Until next time, meet you soon with another guest and their exciting stories. But until then, keep rocking and stay safe. Thank you so much, Colton.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. And I really appreciate these questions. They got me thinking in valuable directions. And the speed round, I was a little intimidated, but it was fun.
Okay. Super cool.